The man on the mound for the Yankees will be Phil Hughes as we start this three-game set. It is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. The New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the first game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees just took 2 out of 3 against the Angels. That's good. They almost swept, but they didn't. 10-8, they lose yesterday, but they made a spirited comeback in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, they were down, and they did. They gave themselves a chance, and a lot of it was due to Mark Teixeira in the series. I mean, he went deep 3 times in the series, gave a couple guys ERAs that didn't even have them coming into the series. Mark Teixeira swinging a hot bat, gave Alex Rodriguez an opportunity to be a hero. He just got beat with a hard fastball, didn't quite get it, but again, the Yankees fought back, but they came up short.
You can't argue with 2 out of 3, and Alex Rodriguez was very, very upset with that pop-up. Let's take a look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. The youngster Henderson Alvarez will go for the Blue Jays. He's 5-7 with a 4.36. And as we mentioned for the Yankees, Phil Hughes gets a start, 9-7, 4.33. Didn't pitch well his last time out before the break against Boston, Paul, but before that he's been pitching very well.
Well, you're looking for kind of a bounce-back start. And again, the last couple games I've seen him pitch, he's thrown the ball really, really well. He's got away from his cut fastball, gone fastball, curveball, located better. This is a good start for him to get off to a good start in the second half.
At the beginning of a 3-game set against the Blue Jays, and home runs could play a role in this one. One of the better home run hitters in the game, Jose Bautista, will match up his swings with Curtis Granderson. Paul O'Neill will explain when we get back right here on Yes. Home runs have been a big theme for the Yankees this year, and the most home runs in the majors since 2010. Those are the gentlemen. Bautista in with the Blue Jays, 124 since that time. Then you have Pujols, 2 Yankees, and Cabrera. So there's a lot of home runs maybe in the future over these next 3 games. That's Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Let's take a look at Bautista and Granderson. These guys have become unlikely home run hitters.
Yeah, well, Bautista, I mean, he's led the American League in home runs the past 2 years, and he does it with a quick bat and hands. He's not a real strong guy, but I tell you what, he gets a long look at the baseball because he is so quick to get to the ball. And he's become a better hitter, not just a home run hitter.
And then there's Curtis Granderson. When he got to the Yankees, not a big-time home run hitter, but he made some changes. Now he is.
Yeah, he really has. And you look at that front shoulder, that's a big deal on his hitting. If he stays close, he's quick enough to get to those balls. Lately, he had a home run back-to-back in games and home run, but lately he's been pulling a few too many foul, and he's ending up striking out, but he's definitely on a home run pitch this year.
So the Bronx Bombers are out. Maybe the Bomber Blue Jays as well. Head to Yankee Stadium. If you can't get here, you're right where you should be, in front of the TV. Lineups, first pitch, baseball next, right here on Yes. in part by Raymore and Flanagan, furnishing your style with guaranteed delivery in 3 days or less. By the professionals at your Tri-State GMC dealer. Why just go when you can go pro? And by Chase, with more innovative ways to make your banking easier. Take a step forward and chase what matters. Hot day in New York City, and the beginning of a 3-game set. Phil Hughes is on the mound, and he will start this 3-game series against the Blue Jays. Why don't we take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup? Blue Jays over 545 and 44. They lead off their third baseman, Brett Laurie. Colby Rasmus, the center fielder, will bat second. Batting third, playing right field, Jose Bautista. Edwin Encarnacion at first base cleans up. Batting fifth, DHing Adam Lynn. Yunel Escobar, the shortstop, will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing second base, Kelly Johnson. Rajai Davis, the left fielder, will bat eighth. And batting ninth and catching, J.P. Arancibia. Phil Hughes made his Major League debut on April 26th of 2007. It was against these Blue Jays. This is what he's done so far this year. 17 starts, 9-7, 4.33, 92 strikeouts, and 99 2/3 innings. We'll give you the scouting report in just a moment. Brett Laurie steps in, and let's do it. First pitch, check swing, ground ball to Teixeira. Hughes receives the throw, one pitch, and one out. It's time for the scouting report, the McDonald's pitcher scouting report. Dig in, Paul.
Familiar faces. Well, I mean, as far as appearances, this is the Blue Jays he faces more than any other team in baseball. No free rides. I mean, he's the best on the Yankee staff. Only averages a little bit over 2 walks per 9 innings. And pick me up. You know, Michael, I'm screwed up here. You got me a little nervous on this scouting report.
Really? Why?
Pick me up. I don't know. Pick me up. He's gone 14-5 in the last time he's followed a Yankee loss. Where's Coney when you need him? He usually does these scouting reports.
Here's Colby Rasmus. 17 home runs for Colby. Pitch outside. The Blue Jays hit home runs. We told you about Bautista and Encarnacion, but as a team, they have the second most home runs of any team in baseball. They have 130 home runs. The Yankees 142.
The pick-me-up, what a great stat. I mean, after a loss, it's always good to have a guy that, really comes out, gives you a good game. And, after a loss, 14-5 following Yankee losses, good stat to have as a pitcher.
You would think that Colby's hair would probably bother him, like moving into his eyes, but it seems like he's okay with it.
The other thing is, it takes a lot of effort to make your hair look good.
Count 3-1.
We were talking with Laurie. I mean, a check swing first pitch, you got to feel as a pitcher, it's like, wow, this is going to be one of those great nights. So then you come out, and now you're 3-1. And that's what we went over to his scouting report. He's gotten away from that cut fastball, and he's really locating his four-seam fastball in the inner half to lefties. Really effectively, and it really helps his curveball.
3-2. He struck him out. That had some tail to it, that fastball.
It did. That was a fastball inside that ended up off the plate. That's swung, no.
Yankee defense brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Let's take a look. Ibanez, Granderson, and Swisher left to right. And in the infield, it's Chavez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. A-Rod was initially at third. Kind of stiff neck in batting practice. He's DHing today. And Martin is behind the plate. And here's the dangerous Jose Bautista. 27 home runs he brings into this game. Takes a first pitch strike. Home plate umpire is Tim McClellan. Takes a little time for Tim to call strikes. We talked about his quick hands. He can wait. He can wait on pitches because he gets that bat in the zone quickly.
Actually, I was talking to Phil Hughes in the clubhouse before the game, and I said, with 2 strikes, it's amazing how big a swing and that he takes, because he's able to, because his hands are so quick, he can wait to really pick up the ball, where you see a lot of hitters kind of get defensive with 2 strikes. I mean, he's just become a great hitter. His average actually down a little bit this year. 300 hitter last year. He's down to 245, but power numbers obviously none.
Check swing on the breaking ball. Ted Barrett said he did not go. Bautista will also take a look at him in this 3-game set. Has a great arm in right field. The 2-2. Breaking ball just a bit high.
You got to kind of hesitate, Mike, when this is the way he were with as a hitter. Tim McClellan, this is a borderline pitch up, and you kind of hold your breath because Tim McClellan doesn't let the hitter know either.
High fly ball, center field. Anderson will make the play in a 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes and the Yankees. So it's the Blue Jays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Russell Martin will catch, and he's going to bat ninth. The numbers on Henderson Alvarez, the young right-hander. 17 starts, 5-7, 4.36. 124 hits and 107 in the third innings, just 36 strikeouts. That's about 3 strikeouts per 9 innings. Not good, but he does make you hit the ball on the ground. Let's take a look at the McDonald pitcher scouting report.
Well, down to business. I mean, you're right, Michael. He does make you put the ball in play. 14.9 pitches an inning, which is second in the American League. He leads, plays the field. I mean, he only averages 3 strikeouts a game per 9 innings. So, again, that's the lowest in the major league. He makes you hit the ball. And Young Gun, 22 years old on April 18th. Just watching Trout play the other day, seems like an old guy, but 22, very young still. Chance to be a good pitcher.
Derek Jeter in the stands, so cut out.
Looks happy too.
Wouldn't you be? There's his numbers.
Not much to be sad about, huh?
He's had a pretty good run. 309, 7 homers, and 26 runs batted in. That's a modest 4-game hitting streak. Right back to Alvarez. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Let's check out the Blue Jays defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Davis, Rasmus, and Bautista left to right in the outfield. Infield, Laurie, Escobar, Johnson, and Encarnacion are in Civia behind the plate, and Alvarez is on the mound. Here's Curtis Granderson. He has a 6-game hitting streak. Made a great play in center field yesterday. Worked a big walk against Scott Downs in the 9th inning to keep that inning going.
A couple home runs, but you know who didn't hit home runs in that last series? It's a chance to be another one just like it. I mean, both these teams, home run happy.
Look at the shift on Granderson. Literally a short right fielder. And the shift doesn't help that. A base hit to center field.
This is the type of hit you're going to see because he works so low in the strike zone. And you see, I don't care where you shift. If you hit line drives, they find holes. Sinker, you see that 2-seamer just running away. Big difference difference in that pitch. If you try to pull that ball, and that's what's really weird to me as a left-handed hitter. When I saw a shift, I thought they would pitch to him. I mean, if you try to pull that ball, you're going to hit a ground ball to the second baseman. But if you're going to shift that much, seems to me that you should throw the guy inside. But, you know, not here in Yankee Stadium.
How about this shift, Paul, on Alex Rodriguez? 3 infielders on the left side. The entire right side of the infield is open with Encarnacion holding on Granderson. I guess the prevailing thought is Alex, if he hits the ball the other way, will hit it in the air. He doesn't usually hit it on the ground the other way. That one has popped up, shallow right. Encarnacion back will make the play for the second out.
You know, it's weird sometimes as a player, you know, you walk up, you get so locked in, and you're not used to seeing that shift. I mean, most guys to share guys like that are, but Alex, that's a new thing for him. He might not even have noticed. Really? He could have pushed most to second base right there. Yeah. Robbie Cano, unbelievable series. He's been just doing it everything at the plate. The outs that he even makes, foul balls, everything he's doing right now, he's hitting hard.
18-game hitting streak, and during the streak, 29 hits and 72 at-bats. What's that mean? That's a .403 average. A little bit of a shift for Cano, which is strange because he goes foul line to foul line. All of the left side from shortstop to the line is open. So it's very, very odd. I've never seen a team shift Cano like this.
Rory all the way out of the outfield grass here. So
goes the other way.
They hit one the other way, but you know, Robbie's such a good hitter that, I mean, it's hard to defense him in one way because he uses the whole field. Once in a while, you're going to have to play some guys out in the seats because he's been hitting home runs too.
Well, these shifts are important, especially with a pitcher that now makes you hit the ball on the ground. So you've got to have the infielders in the right spot. Chasing Granderson back. Two.
Again, you see everything down in the zone. As a hitter, you know that, you know, unless he makes a big mistake, especially from a left-hander, Robbie here, you know, you want to drive the ball to left center, try not to roll over that sinker.
Cano with 21 home runs, 14 of the 21 here at Yankee Stadium. Two. Game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Let's take a look. We know it's hot. 88 degrees, 50% humidity, wind 9 miles per hour, and it's partly cloudy. It's supposed to get really hot tomorrow. Two. 3-2. Anderson will go 3-2, 2 outs. And now Encarnacion is going to play behind him. There it goes. And the pitch is way outside. So Cano will walk. And that'll bring up Teixeira.
Really weird there. I mean, Alvarez almost like held him like he was going to throw over there, and the first baseman's back. I mean, it's 3-2. Everybody in the ballpark knows he's going to run there. So your main goal right there is to throw a strike. So sometimes pitchers get caught up so much in the running game that you know, they forget they need to throw strikes to the hitter.
Teixeira had a home run in each of the games against the Angels. Yesterday in the 9th inning, home run made it 10-7. Yankees lost 10-8. Pitches inside.
Alvarez, another one of those guys, you know, that needs to be pretty fine when he throws. I mean, doesn't have a great slider, has a decent changeup, but a good sinker. But he has to locate it, and he has to be able to throw strikes with it, pitch ahead in the count. Makes any mistakes, he's going to get hit hard.
Now Sevilla goes out and talks with Alvarez.
This has been such a, I mean, just almost like a habit now of the Yankees in these first innings, getting, you know, trying to get on the board, having opportunities. Gave up a couple runs early to the Angels every game and fought right back immediately at the bottom of the first, coming right into the game swinging.
2-0. A strike. Got a good fastball, 94 miles an hour, 2-1. Now that one back.
So that ball got up in the zone. I'll tell you what Alvarez is doing. He's holding the ball so much. And you see Teixeira, I mean, sometimes as a hitter, it drives you crazy to stand there that long. You wait for the pitch. You almost get on your heels a little bit.
Josh Beckett admits that's why he holds on to pitches so long. It does upset the hitter's timing. Makes him anxious.
There's a true sinker right there. Back down to 88. Took a little bit off. Get a little more movement.
Granderson off second. Cano off first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Bottom of the first inning. Well, he's paying attention to the base runners as if Lou Brock is on base. Well, now they will be going on 3-2 again.
This shift over here, it's kind of hard to really hold a guy on second base anyway. It's a long run. It's so easy for the base runner with no shortstop behind him to pick up. Teixeira swings a little ball a little high, but you know, he hit a couple home runs in that last series. One on a high curveball, and Teixeira yesterday, that was a high fastball. First run he's given up since he's been with the Angels.
Three-two, and fouled away.
Granderson, this is one of those times where, you know, you've been on first, you had a couple false breaks there, then you get on second, you have a couple false breaks there.
Three-two again, and the bases are loaded. A single and 2 walks. That'll bring up Swisher.
Swisher, one thing that he does do, he'll make the pitcher throw strikes. You have to realize that as a catcher, you have to try to get ahead of him. I mean, he's what they call kind of a crutch hitter. You know, he'll work the count, get in the count or a fastball, and then he'll try to lean on one and try to cheap pull the ball out of here.
Another shift. 3 infielders on the right side for Swisher from the left side. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1. now 1-1. Yankees have the best record in baseball at 54-34.
It's amazing to me, Mike, when you tune into your show on the way to the ballpark, people still have concerns out there.
Oh, my goodness.
Team still has the best record in baseball.
You got to read your Twitter account. There's real concerns. Why are they still playing Martin? How come they don't drop A-Rod into the lineup? We can't have this guy. You can't. It's unbelievable. But that's what being a fan's about. Toronto in last place in the East. Tied with Boston, 9.5 games behind the Yanks. Strike 3. Swisher down looking. So Alvarez makes the pitch. No runs a hit. The Yankees leave the bases loaded. After 1 inning of play, there's no scorer. Encarnacion will lead off. Let's check out the Dunkin' Donuts team scouting report on the Blue Jays.
Well, they're homer happy. They're just like the Yankees, just behind them, 130 of them. A lot of their runs are scored by the home runs. Wounded wings. They just have bad luck with their pitching. 3 of their 5 starters are on the DL as well as their closers. So solid speed, 69 stolen bases, which is 3rd in the AL, just 1 behind the Angels and the Rays. So they do run, but they do hit a lot of home runs.
Here's John Farrell, the manager, former pitching coach for the Red Sox. Here's Encarnacion, and he takes a strike. Encarnacion, a late bloomer. The Reds thought he was going to be their 3rd baseman for a long time. Didn't pan out. He's moved around and just signed a 3-year, $27 million extension with the Blue Jays.
He had become an out in Cincinnati. I think his last year he had 203, 207, something like that. Offensively, always could catch the ball a little bit. Funny story behind him, though. Knew Robbie Cano real well. Talked to the same guy that helps Robbie Cano, Luis Martinez, or Luis Mercedes, who was a hitting coach, helped him over the winter. Sometimes it can be mental, sometimes it can be mechanics. Encarnacion, it was mechanics. Changed his stride a little bit, having an unbelievable year, 25 home runs.
293. It's just another example. Don't give up on somebody that early, because it could happen later for some in baseball. Not everybody is a Trout type of player who's 20 years old and is great. You see the progression. And that one is laced into right center field. It's going to be a base hit and go to the wall. Granderson fields and gets the ball in quickly, and Encarnacion with a double to open the 2nd.
Talk about Encarnacion. He's on a little streak here, and you see this pitch here. Phil Hughes tries to go away. Encarnacion goes with it, drives it into right center field. It's 18 consecutive games he's reached base, and these are just numbers that you didn't see from him the past couple of years. And he's the type of player that is very kind of laid back, and when you're not putting up numbers and you're not doing things, you almost get the label that you're lazy. And he's not. He's just kind of laid back and plays the game every day. He's really had a breakthrough year this year.
We've seen the same thing. It's funny you bring that up, Paul. We've seen the same thing with Cano. Whenever Cano's not doing well, he's lazy because he moves so effortlessly. He's trying, but when he's raking, nobody brings it up.
Yeah, and I said it a while ago. I mean, there's one thing you can't really measure on a television screen, and that's kind of the grace and how easy it is for some people and how easy they make it look. It's never easy to play the game, but some people make it look a little easier, Robbie being one of them.
Hasn't been easy for Adam Lind. He was actually sent down to AAA. He's an established big leaguer, sent down to Las Vegas, but since he's come back in 16 games, hitting .327, 4 homers and 14 ribbies. Don't know if they corrected something or if it just was a wake-up call.
Yeah, it's amazing because they sent him down, put him on waivers. Nobody even bid, and they brought him back. And when they did send him down, he was hitting .186 with 11 RBIs. So, I mean, he was off to a horrible start. So, again, nobody thought that this kid could turn it around, and since he's been back, some good things.
And there's a guy, Paul, that's been in the big leagues starting in 2006, and all of a sudden to be sent down. That tells you something. So Phil Hughes running into a little bit of a problem here in the second inning. First and second, nobody out. Gets a visit from Russell Martin, and that'll bring up Yunel Escobar. High fly ball, right field. Swisher's there. And the throw is cut off by Jeter, so Escobar flies out for the first out.
Every once in a while as a right fielder, you get an opportunity and you know, everything goes right. And you haven't made a good throw in a while in a game, and people don't take infield anymore. And you almost practice during the game. You stay behind the ball, you make a great throw, as if he were going to go when you know he's not, because the ball's really not deep enough. And that's what Nick Swisher did. Made a good throw. So you stay behind the ball, get a running start. You know he's not going. You're just too close in. You hit the cutoff man, kind of stretch that arm out.
Here's Kelly Johnson. Rounded foul. You know, we mentioned that the Blue Jays are over 500, but they're in last place. And if you take a look at the American League, it really jumps out at you. There are 14 teams in the American League, and only 3 of them are under 500. Only 3 teams, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Seattle. Every other team in the league is over 500, which means they beat up on National League teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about them, and you said, you know, they're in last place in the East. But they're a game and a half out of the wild card. So, yep. I mean, they are in it. The only problem is they've lost their horses. They've lost their starting rotation. They've lost, you know, they're getting Morrow back, who's one of their top aces, but, you know, they've lost their closer. And it's just really hard, especially in the American League East, to compete with the Yankees and the Orioles and the Rays and the Red Sox when you're not healthy.
1-2 to Johnson.
In my mind, they're not a team that can really go out and you know, take some chances, bring somebody in to try to make the wild card, because you have so many young kids coming back that are supposed to be a big part of their team.
Talk about the pitchers. These are the guys they've lost. I mean, they really lost them out for the season. Hutchison out indefinitely. Santos and Drabek out for the season. And Morrow, with the oblique problem, has been out since June 11th. The 1-2. Lined into right field. Swisher is there. Throws the ball in quickly. As the Blue Jays now have 2 outs.
Nick Swisher's kind of laughing over there. I think he was actually trying to throw that ball to second base and double him up. Like I said, he aired it out before. A little strong. Nobody at second base.
So Hughes is looking to work out of trouble. Here's Rajai Davis. A little bit of a slump for Davis. 0 for his last 23.
Still hitting 243. So when he started that, he's having a pretty good year. 23 stolen bases. I mean, he can do some things, especially when he's on base. But say, Michael, you can't steal first. That's the only problem with these guys with speed.
When you're 0 for 23, do you sleep? Not why am I asking you, Oak?
No, 23, I don't know. 23 is long. It starts ringing a bell when you hit double figures. 0 for 10. Good curveball there. You see so much movement in Davis's swing right there, just kind of waving at that curveball. And that's when everything's moving, the ball moves even more. You see hip flying open, back foot flying open. Just got to really try to calm things down and trust that your hands are quick enough. And never try to get a cheap hit by getting jammed.
Grounded softly to third. Chavez steps on the bag, and Hughes works out of trouble. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. Ibanez will start it off. Tonight's question is, what do you think is the biggest challenge remaining on the Yankees schedule? You can text your vote to 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply. Is it 16 games against Toronto? This is the beginning of 16 games remaining with Toronto. 9 home games against the Red Sox. Red Sox haven't been here yet. Or a 10-game American League East September road trip. Vote and tell us.
Nothing to do with those West Coast trips. Remember in the old days, it was always, getting through the West Coast trips.
Well, they're going to be done with that by the end of July.
Yeah.
Last West Coast trip is starting Thursday in Oakland. 4 against the A's and then 3 against Seattle, and they're done with the West Coast, and unless they have to visit the West Coast in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it was automatic. You took a West Coast trip, you went to all 3 sites.
Yep.
And, you went to 2 or 3 times a year, and usually one of them was in September when you just, kind of worn out of traveling. Always the toughest trip in my mind. Great scheduling as a team when you're finished with the West Coast in July.
Now, Ibanez is playing more left field than the Yankees had planned. And with the news that the Yankees got today, unless they make a deal, he's going to be playing left field a lot because Brett Gardner came up stiff again after playing yesterday in a rehab game. And he has stiffness in the elbow, and they're going to shut him down, and he's going to get examined again. They're going to shut him down for a couple of days, and that's not good news. And even Joe Girardi said, I'm concerned. How could you not be? Every time he tries to play, the elbow acts up again, and they've run all these tests on him.
And that's the one thing that you look for. Brett Gardner, he brings back defense, obviously, but he also brings back options to score runs, and that's in stolen bases. So it would give the Yankees another option in big games to score runs. So it is frustrating for, I'm sure, for Brett Gardner and also for Girardi, not knowing that, that the one speed guy that you have, you can't get back out on the field.
So Ibanez opens the inning with a walk, the 0-1 count on Chavez. Chavez was initially the DH today, but as we mentioned during BP, A-Rod came up with a stiff neck, so they kind of gave him half a day off, and he's been hitting much better as the DH anyway, and they just made Chavez the third baseman. Joe Girardi was asked yesterday, if you know that A-Rod's hitting so well as a DH, and you've got Chavez in the lineup, why wouldn't you always have Chavez play third? And he said, well, first of all, I'm not going to make decisions based on those numbers at this point. He said, second of all, Chavez is so important to what we do, I have to keep him healthy as well. I can't keep running him out there because even Eric said he's not an everyday player anymore. His body wouldn't stand up. Grounded to Escobar. And that's going to be a double play. .38 of the Yankees' remaining 74 games are against Toronto, 16, Baltimore 10, and Boston 12. So those teams have a chance to make up all the ground that the Yankees have pulled ahead of them in the American League East. And there's a supportive fan for Russell Martin, who has really struggled.
That's good to see that. That's not your usual sign you see in the stands in Yankee Stadium when you're struggling. But, you know, Russell Martin does a lot of things defensively. You know, I think everybody, including us, was happy to see to get a big hit in Game 1 of the Anaheim series. So he's battling. He's trying everything. I talked to him yesterday.
Oh, look at that.
This is the kind of stuff you just don't see. Really.
Well, Neville doesn't write those signs. I mean, that young lady, I mean, she was probably 7 when he played.
She saw my last game. She must be on Twitter. Huh?
2-2 on Martin.
You say that, you know, you talk about all the questions you get on Twitter, and I was looking through it last night, and I did get one. The guy was concerned. I mean, Chavez had a big game yesterday. He was 3 for 3. Wanted to know why he would pinch hit for him in that situation. Put Andrew Jones up.
Did you answer?
Yeah, I answered.
Lefty.
Lefty. Andrew Jones is very strong against lefties, taking a chance.
Popped up. And in the seats.
That was right before the one where the guy said I look like a chia pet.
Did he really?
That's right. They're not all good, Mike.
Have you gotten some negative ones?
That was it. That was one of them.
That's the worst one?
Yeah, he said, look, I got my hair trimmed a little bit
Well,
today.
I mean, every day I get at least 100 big head, jughead jokes. I mean, really.
It's not even anything to look at twice anymore.
No, it's just, okay, fine, I have a big head. And just when it starts to die down, you'll take a shot at me and it starts up again.
Trying to keep you grounded.
It's working. That's the type of hat I need. Here's the payoff to Martin. Fouled away. Bottom of the second here at the stadium. Yankees and the Blue Jays 0-0. It's got to be tough for Russell to look up at that scoreboard, see 178 in the final year of his contract. It's not what he planned. But that one's driven deep to right field. Bautista back, looking up. See ya! A home run the other way for Russell Martin. The Yankees on the board. It's 1-0.
Those are big lifts. And what you do if you're Russell Martin is you turn the page on the first half and you really kind of reset your goals. And, you know, maybe you can hit 280 in the second half and hit 10 home runs, and at the end of the year, if you put those stats up in the second half, you know, your total year's respectable. But if you keep walking up there every single time, looking at that 180, 178, it really becomes a mental burden. And, you know, big hit against the Angels, home run tonight, you never know.
9 home runs now for Martin. The Yankees have a 1-0 lead, and they also have 143 home runs on the year. Pitch to Jeter. Here's a strike.
Again, that ball, you see not much sink on that ball. That was a straight fastball. Martin puts the barrel on it. Yankee Stadium when it's hot. Boy, I tell you, that right field looks so tempting, even to the right-handed hitters. Alvarez at 95 there, but that's why he takes a little bit off. And actually, the ball that he takes off is a more effective pitch because it's got a lot more movement on it. We've seen just a straight fastball and the sinker, which I don't know if he's calling that his changeup, but you haven't seen any kind of spin on the ball. Meaning a breaking ball or a slider. And once in a while, I think you just have to show that pitch, whether it's good or not. You have to put it in the back of the mind of the hitters and the guys on the bench that you do have a breaking ball.
Strike three. Tim McClellan late, but decisive as he punches out Jeter. But the Yankees get on the board. That man hits a home run. We'll go to the third. Yankees up 1-0. For your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile, get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. So text at that to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Pitch is outside to Aaron Sibia, and the third inning is underway. Ninth hitter with 13 home runs, not too bad. Fouled away. Lincoln scoreboard 1-0 Yankees.
You said it, Michael. That's why, if you're a general manager and you trade for a pitcher in the American League East, you're getting somebody that is able to get people out. Because, here's a guy hitting ninth. 13 home runs. Living in close to 50 runs. That's not your everyday nine-hitter hole in the National League.
But it does tell you one thing, Paul. They have 130 home runs. And everybody complains about the Yankees. Well, they hit too many home runs, and that's not the way to win games. Well, this team hits a lot of home runs, and they're in last place. That one's driven deep to left center. Right there is Granderson who'll make the play for the first out. So just because you hit a lot of home runs doesn't mean you win games, and just because you hit a lot of home runs doesn't mean you lose a lot of games. Yankees have the best record in baseball hitting home runs.
And if you look at the differences, you're looking at the bullpen. They've lost their closer. The Yankees have lost their closer, but they've got a guy who stepped in and done a great job. They've lost 3 of their starters. guys have not filled in as well as the guys that have stepped in for the Yankees. So the Yankees pitching has been good as of late. Their bullpen's been excellent. Soriano's been great. So if you score runs and you catch the baseball, you're going to win. I still think that teams get in the habit of winning and losing. And I don't know that the Toronto Blue Jays yet are at the position where they come out of spring training and expect to beat teams like the Yankees and the Rays and the Red Sox. The Yankees come out of spring training every single year since I've known anything about Yankee baseball, expecting to win the World Series, and that's the way the Yankee way is, and I think it's a great thing.
Have you ever been on a team that expected to win more than the '98 team?
Well, I mean, you come out of spring training, you're expected to win, but then when you start putting up those numbers, I think you felt more pressure going into the playoffs that year than any other, because it means nothing. I don't care how many 100 games you win. If you don't win the World Series, it's all for nothing.
Laurie taps back to the mound for the second out. I always felt that '98, and you were in that room, that you guys were genuinely shocked when you lost.
Oh, you just didn't expect it. I mean, it almost became comical at times. I mean, you would go in and expect to win series, and you'd go to the next city sweeping, and it would be some guy off the bench or a grand slam, or it just, you'd beat them up 2 games, and then the one game that was kind of the close game, you'd end up winning that one too. And it was a good team where everybody had a good year, and that doesn't happen very often.
Championship, and with the playoffs, 125 wins against 50 losses.
That's the one jersey I have on the wall now, too.
Really?
That team, yeah.
Is that in the same room where the batting title bat is under the couch?
That's actually, it certainly is. You and I are going to have tea down there one day, Mike.
I've got to be invited. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to break in. Here's a 2-0. Grounded to first to Sheriff Fields. Beats Rasmus to the bag, and a 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees. We're going to the bottom of the third, and it's going to be Granderson, A-Rod, and Cano coming up for the Yanks. A spring training game, and that's a big throw for him. He still talks about that. I'd say he acquitted himself pretty well.
It's funny, I remember the night before, everybody knew it was going to happen, and the night before that, I remember eating in a restaurant, and he was eating right behind us, and he was pretty friendly with all the players. He'd been out on the field, and I actually looked back and I said, "So you nervous for tomorrow?" And he admitted, "Yeah, I'm a little nervous." Remember, he fouled the ball off, made contact.
That's right. Here's Granderson. Shift is on again, and he shows bunt. He takes Keith Olbermann at the game.
I saw Waldo earlier. Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
He was at the game, too. Let's see if our cameraman can find him.
Lincoln scoreboard 1-0. There's a strike, 1-1. There he is.
He couldn't trick him. Lay that outfit out like tomorrow I'm going to be Waldo.
Horizontal stripes don't work with me.
They didn't go well.
And that was a conscious decision by that young man. Now with 2 strikes, the third baseman plays essentially shortstop. He's not worried about the bunt. Two and two. Swing and a miss. Granderson down on strikes.
We talked about it. I mean, every once in a while you're going to have to spin a ball as a breaking ball, and I think that was really his first one that he got anything that anybody to chase. Yep, little slider down and in. So used to picking up that ball going the other way. Actually, that's a changeup grip. Kind of pulled it over like a slider. Off speed, good pitch.
Now to bring up Alex Rodriguez. And that one is hammered into left center field. It's a base hit. It's going to go to the wall. And A-Rod will get himself a double.
By Alex Rodriguez. This is basically the same pitch at 93, where yesterday Jepson popped him up at like 97. So that's the difference. He got to this ball yesterday with another 3 or 4 miles an hour. He didn't swing.
And after the game, Alex did meet the media. He was very upset when he made that out. He said, awesome situation, lousy result. I got a good swing on it. I just popped it up. So he gets himself a double here in the third, and that will bring up Cano. Cano walked in the first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Robbie Cano. I mean, if you get in enough of those situations, you know, you're going to make outs, and then you're going to have your heydays where you're the hero. And it's just not every day. And the fans expect it when you hear a name like that for it to happen. And you know, sometimes you just get beat on a pitch, and that's what happened.
Count 1-1.
Robbie Cano had such a good series against the Angels. It's like every ball that he hit, even the outs were right on the nose, line drives. You just can't wait to get to the ballpark the next day because you know you're going to have good swings. You see that pitch close, but it's, you know, you're seeing the ball so well that you zone into that strike zone. It's like you're on automatic pilot. Everything's going well.
Hammered to right field. That is going to be past the diving Bautista, and it goes to the wall. A-Rod scores. Cano's at second with an RBI double, and the Yankees lead 2-0. And Cano now has a career-high 19-game hitting streak.
Well, again, I mean, it's just a no-ho-hum, just an absolute rope. Bautista took a good line to it. He's a great outfielder. Took a chance. See that ball running out over the plate. As a hitter, you can't get it to fall down enough. He tried to save a run. Ball just hit too hard. We've had David Cohn in the booth the last few days, and I guarantee if I ask him, would you like to see your outfielder take a chance to try to save a run? I guarantee he would say yes. Jim Cott always had the best line. You catch the ones in front, the ones that goes over your head were my fault. So Bautista took an angle to it where he had to go for it, just didn't come up with it.
Teixeira walked in the first inning. The 1-1. Grounded foul.
Took a little bit off. And Mark Teixeira, other than the hanging curveball he hit, he's been hitting a lot of fastballs. And I guarantee that if you're a hitter, you know if you've had a good series, you know, they scout you ahead. You know, the Blue Jays were probably here the last week or so, and you know, they mark what you're hitting. So, you know, the change of series can be a different style of pitching just by the previous scouting reports that comes in. Slows down with men on base with Alvarez.
You mentioned Jim Cott. He is the anti-Jim Cott.
Yeah, you see that. You see guys standing around, and it gets people just kind of too relaxed out in the field.
Popped up. Shallow right. Bautista will make the play for the second out. Well, that's going to bring up Nick Swisher. Swisher struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning.
So Robbie over there kind of yelling over at Encarnacion. We talked about it. They hit with the same guy over the winter, so pretty good friends. Nick Swisher with his second opportunity early in the game to drive in a run.
Count 1-0. Missed outside, 2-0. We're in the third inning. Yankees lead the Blue Jays 2-0. Beginning of a 3-game set. Tomorrow night and Wednesday afternoon. And the Yankees head west. 4 against Oakland and 3 against Seattle.
Tough pitches. Alvarez didn't get either of them. Took a little bit off, sinking that ball on the outside corner.
.65 pitches. 3-0. Strike. You know, you're in the same group as Nick Swisher. You, Nick Swisher, and Jesse Barfield are the only Yankee right fielders over the last 40 years to have 2 assists in a single game. Just thought I'd tell you that.
Like the last 40 years, that's like the only 3 people who played right field, isn't it?
Had Reggie out there.
Reggie.
Yeah, I've had some people out there.
Record's a record, Michael, you know.
Winnie played out there.
The Babe wasn't in the last 40 years. The Babe played out there.
Yep.
That's one thing you never forget when you took that field from that old tunnel in Yankee Stadium, and just remember, you know, some of the guys that walked down that tunnel. Pictures of DiMaggio and Mantle and Ruth. I mean, it was amazing. Kind of woke you up every night.
3-2. I got to be honest, Paul. Alvarez is like watching paint dry.
Yeah, he really takes a lot of time with men in base. And it's not the number of pitches in an inning. It's not that he's pitching around people because he makes people swing the bat. It's just that he takes a long time.
Driven out to left field. Davis on the run. He's there, and he'll make the play for the final out of the inning. But the Yankees get a run with one out, a double by A-Rod, and then Cano came up and lined one past a diving Bautista. 19-game hitting streak, a 2-0 Yankee lead. Quiz. Jose Bautista led the American League in home runs in 10 and 11. Who was the last player to lead the American League in home runs 3 straight seasons? You have any idea, O'Neill?
Think he's in the ballpark tonight?
I don't know. I don't know. Count 1-0 to Bautista. How about this? I didn't realize this. Bautista became the first player ever to lead the major leagues in home runs at the All-Star break, outright or tied in each of 3 consecutive seasons.
Is it ever?
Ever.
Like Babe Ruth never did that?
Well, there wasn't an All-Star game until 33, okay. So.
See, there's always a catch when I get you, Michael. There's always a catch.
That shocks me, though.
Yeah. That's close. That's close, Michael.
Since 2010, this man's hit more home runs than anybody else, and by a lot. 30 more than Albert Pujols. And Granderson and Teixeira tied with 90, and Cabrera with 88. High fly ball, right field. Swisher makes the play.
Yeah, it really came from nowhere, too. And it just showed up on, a guy that wasn't that type of player in the minor leagues and worked on it, and all of a sudden, one year, he had changed.
Here's Encarnacion. Third base coach for the Blue Jays is one of the great guys in baseball. He's the best. Brian Butterfield, he's out of the Yankee organization. That's how I know him. He was a coach with Buck Showalter. He was a manager in the minor leagues. His dad was a player development head with the team, Jack Butterfield. And funny, smart, knows the game as well as anybody. Just a great guy.
He was part of the Buck Showalter regime when I got here. And one of the funnest guys on the field that I was with. Came up to me one day, and you know the bubblegum cards, and he came up, and there was a picture of me just in hysterics because I was talking to Butterfield in a baseball card.
Oh, really?
He showed it to me. Let me sign this for you all. That was just him. He was, and he just kept people loose.
That one is drilled to left field. And Ibanez makes the play. He worked with Derek Jeter when Derek first was drafted, and Derek has really strong feelings toward Butterfield. Butterfield's just, you know, Paul brought up a point. He's very funny. He keeps the team loose. And I think sometimes that plays against the fact that people don't realize how much of the game he knows. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Oh, he's intense. Look at him. He's intense out there. Butter's chapped. They're losing.
And he's thought of as a top flight third base coach as well. Here's Adam Lynn.
Hughes is just sneaky enough with his fastball tonight to get it by in some fastball counts. And guys were late. Encarnacion tied up one. I mean, the only reason that ball didn't go out because it wasn't elevated enough. Hit it right on the nose. But Bautista popped one up. Lynn behind that one. When he's 93, 94, and he can get any kind of breaking ball over, he's going to be good.
Last 7 starts, 5-2, 2.872. He didn't pitch that well. That was against Atlanta and the one against Boston before the break. But the numbers are very good. 10 walks, 43 strikeouts, 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Driven to right field. Going back, Swisher, and that ball is gone. A home run. It's 2-1 Yankees.
I'll tell you what, more in these last 2 series. You will see guys miss with pitches, and I'm telling you, they're not singles. Every one of them has been a home run. This ball is supposed to be right on the inner, you know, on the inside corner. Just leaks out over the plate. A lot of times it's a single. It ends up, you see the gloves start to come over this way. Next thing you know, ball's in the seats, and you're talking of a matter of inches. These guys are missing, and the ball is just flying in the heat here at Yankee Stadium.
That breaks a streak of 24 straight innings without allowing a home run. That short porch giveth and taketh away too. There's a strike to Escobar.
This is kind of like playing home run derby in your backyard. You know, you either hit a home run or you make an out. You just got to wonder where that last pitch was. I mean, Russell Martin had to move his glove, and it moved it right over the middle of the plate. Good curveball.
So Lynn, who was sent down to AAA, now has 8 home runs and 5 since being recalled 16 games ago. Swing and a miss. Escobar down on strikes. So Hughes gives up the home run to Adam Lynn. To the short porch in right field. Makes it into the first row. Yankees lead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Question: Bautista led the American League in home runs in 2010 at 11. Who was the last player to lead the American League in home runs 3 straight seasons? The answer is...
See, I said he was in the ballpark tonight. I actually knew that one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. You've had a much better year this year with this.
Studied this stuff.
Really?
Studied a little bit, yeah.
Very proud of you.
I don't even have people in my ear cheating like you did with my music trivia.
If you put your headsets on, you'd have people in your ear. Ibanez, Chavez, and Martin. Ibanez walked in the second. Chopped. Off the mound is Alvarez. And they get the out at first.
Ibanez really couldn't get out of the box there. I mean, that was a high chopper there. Could have been a tough play. So he just caught up in the box. Good hop.
Here's Chavez.
I remember in the old days, it was one time I was hitting. Wade Boggs loved everything to stay down because he was, he was third baseman. He never wanted the ball to chop up like that. So it was so wet and muddy in front of home plate. I hit a chopper like that, and it stuck in the mud. Just like, have you ever seen a ball on a golf course kind of just stick? It's stuck in the mud. I literally just sat there and looked at it. Half of the ball stuck in the mud. The catcher just picked it up, tagged me. I'm like, you're talking about an embarrassing at bat. Ball actually went a foot. Full swing.
So it was actually wet because Wade wanted it that way?
Oh yeah, Boggs. He was partial grounds crew member at that time. Danny Cunningham did all he could to keep Boggsy happy. There's a lot of clay that kind of gets digged up, and they do a great job. I mean, when this thing, at the end of the day, there's nothing worse than having these big holes right here. They get deeper and deeper during the series, but I mean, Cunningham and his job, they do a great job of keeping this thing. I mean, you get a guy that leads off and digs a big hole, and it's not where you want to stand. It drives you crazy all night.
Russell Martin grounds one to short. Nice easy inning for Henderson Alvarez as he retires the Yankees in order. 1-2-3. We've got a good one in the Bronx. Yankees lead 2-1. Kelly Johnson will lead off the fifth. Up for the White Sox. That was something they were missing. They were getting no offense at all from third base. Across the street, a lot of activity in the park, and boy, the park where the old Yankee Stadium used to be is a beautiful facility. A lot of people using it. Got a track, the whole deal. Very nice. Cadillac scoreboard has the Yankees up 2-1. Kelly Johnson leads off. There's a ground ball right to Teixeira. Well, you know who I got a chance to talk to today, Paul?
See this, Michael? This guy right there?
Where?
Doing this, right here. We're here doing that. He's just finishing his CrossFit for the day. You know, that's that kind of stuff I've been trying to do with myself. See, he quit too. He'd had enough.
So you work with the parallel bars?
Oh, you do everything. Chin up, parallel, sprint, throw weights around.
How much better shape can you be in?
Obviously a lot better, because I might get through it too quick.
Here's Davis. So you know who I spoke to today? Mariano.
I heard it on the radio, Michael.
Yeah. And I asked him, is there a possibility that you can come back this year? And he would not rule. I said, I don't know. Only God knows. He said, but the rehab has gone so much better and so fast, better than we had hoped. He said, I'm not going to say no. He said, I'd love to. He said, I'm aiming for it, but I don't want to set any goals, because then if I don't reach it, I'll just be disappointed. Right. But I'm working hard every day. He would not rule it out.
You know what I thought was just the epitome of Mariano was your first question. Is Mariano, you stepped out. Everybody expected the team. How are you going to see Rajai Davis swinging the ball in the dirt? Again, another curveball by Phil Hughes. Are you surprised as good as the Yankees have done? And his answer was no. These guys can play. They can win. And it just, to me, just shows you that. I mean, he knows it's a good team, but I don't think he even realizes how important he was to winning here.
But he did say something really interesting by being hurt, and he's watching the game right now. He says he watches every game. Yeah. He says it's much tougher to watch than to play.
What's up, Mo? How you doing out there?
He said that being out makes him realize how much he needs the game. And I think sometimes people need it. I think that Andy Pettitte needed that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Mariano said he was going to play next year anyway. But my partner, Don LaGreca, asked him, if you do come back and the Yankees win a championship and you pitch and pitch well, will you come back? Still come back? He said, that's a good question. I don't know.
Mariano is from Panama. He could be watching this thing under a palm tree over there, you know. you could stream these games from anywhere now, right?
That's right. There's Andy. Took an x-ray the other day. It showed that 30% of the break is healed, so it's right on target.
You can do that now?
That's what I hear. My producer and director saying it's 50%. I read 30. They read 50. So I'm going to go with them because it's 2-1.
You know, in the old days, if you broke a foot, you threw a cast on for 6 or 8 weeks, and you cut it off, and you went after it.
The cast, not the leg.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Unless you're a horse, right?
Aaron Sibia works a walk. Andy does not have a cast on. It's just got a little wrap. And he's not walking with any kind of a limp. He's thrown off flat ground. And the earliest he could come back is the end of August because he was put on the 60-day DL. Yeah. But he wants to be with the team. He wants to travel with them. And the Yankees think it's important as well. He's a good influence on the pitchers. Pitches up and in to Laurie.
You know, I've said it right when he showed up. It's no coincidence that the starting pitching got better when Andy Pettitte came back. I mean, he helps people being around him. He helps people by talking to them, just understanding how to get hitters out. I guess I'm saying he'd probably make a pretty good pitching coach, but I don't know that you're going to see that when he's finished.
Quick trip out to the mound to talk to Hughes. This chiropractic telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Our producer, Bill Ballin, who is refreshed after a weekend off, assures me that the injury is healed 50%.
50%. So he's halfway home. You know, I tell you, US people are doing pretty well.
How so?
Going to Bermuda, taking vacations over the break. You know, like I said, I went across the river in Ohio and ate dinner in Kentucky. You guys are flying all over the place.
If you could see me now, I'm playing the world's smallest violin, everybody.
Yeah.
Last year, 2 weeks in Italy, please. Yeah. Tell you a story walking. With 2-1. There's a strike, 2-2.
Hughes has good stuff, and he's kind of found his breaking ball in the last couple innings. Then his put away pitch. Ooh, movement on that fastball.
Sky-high pop-up, left field. Ibanez will put it away for the final out of the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. We're halfway through, 2-1 Yanks. Tomorrow afternoon, me and O'Neill out there playing one-on-one. By your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers, visit bwdealer.com. By J&R Music and Computer World. And by Pepsi Max, 0 calories maximum. Pepsi taste. All right, we go to the fifth inning, and Derek Jeter will lead off against Henderson Alvarez. Yankees lead 2-1. Strike by McClellan. Cadillac scoreboard 2-4-0 Yanks, 1-2-0 for the Jays. One and one.
Alvarez has done a pretty good job. I mean, he went away with Russell Martin, gave up a home run, and then a hard double to Cano. But other than that, he's been sinking the ball, throwing a lot of fastballs, and kind of going to that changeup a little bit as a breaking pitch.
We talked about some of the injured Yankees. Tomorrow they get back their ace. CC Sabathia will start the game tomorrow night.
And that was a good sign, too, because he had a bullpen session, and then you always wonder, that last session before start, pitcher will go a little bit harder. Could it be the same thing as like Greg Gardner? You come the next day and you're a little sore, and then you're scratched. But it's the same pitch that Derek struck out on his first time.
I think they got a piece of Aaron Sibia's hand. Driven to right field, backing up Bautista. He's there to make the play for the first out. Come out to Yankee Stadium this Wednesday afternoon, July 18th, for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays. The first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Mark Teixeira figurine, courtesy of PC Richard & Son. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849.
Just put yourself at like 12, 14 years old. You come to the ballpark for that, right?
Absolutely.
You're the Bobby Mercer fan, right?
Oh, huge. And back then, when I was growing up, there weren't as many giveaways. And Yankee giving away great stuff almost every game now. But back then it was cap day, ball day, and bat day. first game I ever went to was against the Washington Senators. It was ball day. I still have the ball.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Did you see that thing in Ohio last week where the guy found an old chest of baseball cards? Millions of dollars worth of baseball cards. What happens in Ohio? You just throw stuff in the attic. Next thing you know, somebody's uncovering it.
Well, the grandfather had gotten these cards and put them in a box and then just put them up in the attic and forgot about it and passed away. And the grandmother was still around, and then she passed away and left the house to her family. And they were cleaning out the house to sell it, and they were going through this box, and they pristine condition cards. And the card collector community is saying it's one of the great finds of all time.
Pretty cool. You a big card collector?
Not really.
No?
Not really.
Well, my brothers had buckets full of them, big trash can full of them.
Where are they now?
My mom, in the same place, in the big trash can. My mom got sick of being all over the floor, so she did away with them.
You keep all your cards?
No, but it's funny when you get someone in the mail. You open the mail and you look through, and it's like it'll remind you of a year or something like that.
Morakovitz just fired a package of Paul O'Neill cards.
Snowing up here. Let me look through a couple of these a minute. That's a bad swing right there. That's a bad uni there in Cincinnati.
A lot of Reds ones there.
Yeah, I sent the Yankee ones back.
There's Meredith. She threw those. This is what she threw, everybody.
I have little issues in the booth.
There's a lot of Paul O'Neill cards going to somebody's attics. Swing and a miss. Anderson down on strikes for the second time against Alvarez. Alvarez has picked it up since the Cano double. He's retired 7 in a row.
Again, that's that changeup. You see that one went away. He's had a couple that went into Granderson, and you see that changeup grip. The tumbling, but that ball actually went away. And that's a tougher pitch to hit for a lefty because it has the same kind of movement as that sinker. Minus about 8 miles an hour. You would think that, if you're Alvarez, you've done a good job. You've pretty much shut the Yankees down other than a couple runs. You're at 88 pitches. That you'd be just pitching at a lightning pace, very confident, but he's just slow, meticulous, and boy, when people get on base, he even slows it down more.
A-Rod's doubled and scored a run. That strikeout of Granderson, the 5th for Alvarez, which is his new season high. He averages 3 strikeouts a game.
If you think about sinker ball pitchers, they want to get the ball in play. First, second pitch, they hope you put it on the ground and they get a ground out. He's been able to get ahead of some hitters and get long counts and get some strikeouts. This is one of those times where you're 3-0 and you're Alex Rodriguez. You probably have the green light. If you're Alvarez, you got to realize that. Take a little bit off and throw a ball with some movement, which he did.
So they turn him loose on. Their allegiance is clear. See, that looked like it was going to devolve into a fight. Two little brothers annoying each other.
It's not over yet.
He's trying to hold it up, and the kid in the light blue shirt keeps trying to push it down.
Remember those days of boys just trying to bug each other.
No guy's not an A-Rod fan.
They'll both be fans if he gets a hit, though, right?
Here's a 3-2. And that will do it. So the guy in the light blue shirt has all the laughs. We go to the 6th. Yankees are leading 2-1. Yes Network Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Time Warner Cable. Get the remaining season of live Yankee games on the go for just $39.99. And if you're a Time Warner Cable customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now.
Paint a picture for me, Michael. What that looked like to you?
Looked like
sky.
Little pink brushstrokes on a blue background. Doesn't work. Didn't do it?
Quite
well, let the picture speak for itself. It's the beauty of TV. Driven to right field, deep, going back. Swisher on the track, at the wall. He makes the play up against the wall for the first out to retire Rasmus.
And Nick Swisher's gotten real comfortable out there, knowing where he is. Great play the other night, bringing a ball that could have been a Trumbo hit for the Angels. And this ball right here looks like he totally missed. Went all the way to the wall. So talking to it. I'll tell you what, pitching here, every time a ball leaves the bat high to right field, you got to be holding your breath.
Breaking ball and a strike. Yankees lead 2-1. We're in the top of the 6th inning.
Well, Hughes has done a good job on Bautista tonight, kind of mixing up the fastball and the curveball. Ball 91 took a little off, but he ran it in on his hands. And again, that's the pitch that a lot of power hitters can't get to because they can't get their arms extended. And you see the movement in on his hands. And it just ties him up enough where they can't get that bad head out to drive the ball out. In the same place, if you see Phil Hughes threw that exact pitch he wanted to, just didn't get the call. Went inside and then broke it back into the plate. Good curveball, just didn't get the call.
2-2. Now 3-2.
Just miss with a couple breaking balls, all of a sudden, you know, you're in a fastball count, but not to Bautista. You just can't go after a guy with this much power with a fastball down the middle. There's the curveball.
So runner on first, that'll bring up Encarnacion.
Encarnacion took that fastball away and drove it into right center field, so you would think that Phil Hughes would want to keep the ball in on his hands or break the ball off the plate.
What a great feeling it must be for Encarnacion, who struggled to find his footing in the big leagues and then to be rewarded with the contract. You almost take a deep breath. You always play for that one contract that could set you up for life. And now he's free and easy. It's all about baseball. As he rockets one to left center field, that ball is going to be off the base of the wall. Granderson Fields gets the ball in quickly. Rounding third and heading home is Bautista. Here's the play. He's in there. Tie game 2-2. Encarnacion with an RBI double.
Again, you talk about last time up, he drove the ball away. Phil Hughes just did not get this ball in enough. Encarnacion leaks over the middle of the plate, drives it. And the thing here is you always got to hit the cutoff man in stride. Granderson made Jeter move to his right a little bit, which allowed Bautista to beat the throw to the plate. Good slide. You see him go to his right there, and that's because Lynn right here is directing traffic, because if you're Bautista, you don't have any idea which side of the plate that ball is going to. Lynn told him about halfway, when you see that ball coming in, directs you one way or the other. Good job. Michael, I tell you, it's amazing to me how many times we've seen in these past 4 games, anytime a pitcher makes a mistake, it's costing him a run. It's just not a single up the middle. It's a double. It's a home run. It's just the mistakes have been killed in these past 2 series.
Strike to Lynn and count 0-2.
Let's face it, pitchers, I don't care who you are, cannot be perfect. But a lot of times, a guy will foul a ball off or, pull a ball foul. It's just like every time a pitcher makes a little bit of a mistake, they're paying for it by giving up runs.
Swing and a miss. Ball gets away from Martin. Moving to third is Encarnacion. So Lynn gets tagged out by Martin. And they're 2 away with a runner on third.
The change up here and really made a good pitch down in the dirt, out of the zone. Not a pitch that he's used a lot. He got a strikeout with it tonight.
Side winding from the right and side winding from the left. Epley and Rapata. Strike to Yunel Escobar.
Again, tight game, 2 outs. An opportunity to get out of this inning. Escobar has an opportunity. These are the big at bats. An opportunity to put his team ahead. So good battle here. Important hitter.
The 0-2. 1-2. Escobar 0 for 2 against Hughes tonight. Fly to right and struck out. Hughes trying to get out of this jam and keep the game tied. Missed inside, 2-2.
2 tough pitches. He took a curveball outside off the plate, then he took a fastball in. Clearly inside. Fastball away.
What do you think he goes with here?
Well, it seems like he's going in, out, so you would think that he's going to go with that fastball back inside. And we walked Bautista earlier in the inning on a 3-2 curveball, so he shook off the fastball in. He's going to go with the fastball away.
Off it to right field. Swisher is right there, and that'll do it. But the Blue Jays tie the score, a walk and a double. It is now 2-2. Leading off for the Yanks will be Robinson Cano. question. What do you think is the biggest challenge remaining on the Yankee schedule? You have been texting us at 42951, and here's how you voted. 72% say it's the American League East September road trip. And that's Tampa, Baltimore, Boston.
If you think about it, if it does come down to the wire with some teams, I mean, when you're playing in your own division, obviously everything's in your own hands about the way you're playing. That's why that last series against the Angels is so important. You win 2 out of 3, you pick up a game in the division. And Tampa and Boston were playing, kind of beating each other up.
Cano is 1 for 1 tonight with a walk. Last time up, an RBI double. And a career-high 19-game hitting streak, and he's 30 for 73 during the streak. The way he swings, Paul, I know you're an admirer of the type of hitter he is. If you look at it, his average is 320. As he lines one to Johnson.
Even on his outs, he's hitting the ball hard. You know, with good swings. But go ahead, Mike.
Why is he only? I mean, I know this sounds weird because 320 is great, and the guy has hit 342 in his career in a season. Why doesn't he hit 330 all the time?
Yeah, I mean, he got up to kind of a tough start, and I think every once in a while, when Robbie gets frustrated, he starts leaving the strike zone. And really, that's the only time that he makes consistent outs is when he swings at balls. But you have to admit to me, there's kind of been a change here. If you think of one guy that the team is kind of pitching around or not letting them beat it, it's Robbie now. It's not, you know, it's not Teixeira, it's not A-Rod. It's Robinson Cano.
He's the best hitter on the team.
I think so, by far. Just because he really doesn't, like I said, if he doesn't leave the zone, he really doesn't have one way to get him out.
Right. So essentially, he gets himself out when he leaves the zone.
Well, obviously, there's times when a pitcher will make a great pitch or jam him or whatever, but any, you know, prolonged time where he doesn't hit balls hard, it's usually because he's not swinging at strikes, or he hasn't hit a home run in a while and he wants to start pulling them. That's why as a hitter, you know, you go through a year and it's so great to space out everything. You know, you space out RBIs, you space out home runs, so you don't start stressing over things. You go a couple weeks without hitting a home run, all of a sudden it starts getting in your mind, I need to hit a home run, I haven't done it in a while. And you start changing your mechanics, and before you know it, you know, you've kind of messed yourself up at the plate.
And a walk of Mark Teixeira, so he's on with 1 out. And that'll bring up Swisher. So 102 pitches for Alvarez. And there is action in the Blue Jays bullpen. This is the starting pitching comparison tonight. Phil Hughes has allowed 3 hits and 2 runs. And Alvarez 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits and 2 runs.
Both guys have basically done the good jobs. I mean, throwing the ball well, giving up a couple of home runs, and it's just, you know, it's the nature of this ballpark this weekend, and it's just for these last couple of series, the ball is carrying, and it's when you make a mistake, it's ending up in the seats.
Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Teixeira will stop right there at second, and Swisher found a hole in the shift and got it just past a diving Escobar for a single.
I tell you what, Michael, the thing here, look how far he goes range-wise to almost come up with this ball. And this ball's hit hard. He gets over there, you know, 6-8 feet on the other side of the bag. He comes up with that ball, he's got a chance to throw him out. Wow.
Right there. I think it nipped the edge of his glove.
Fun to be a shortstop in that athletic, wouldn't it, Mike?
I would say. He can play. Here's Ibanez with the go-ahead run at second base as Arancibia goes out and talks with Alvarez.
Again, if you're the manager, you know that Alvarez has such a good sinker that one pitch, you hate to get to the bullpen when he has an opportunity to get out of an inning with a double play. It's such a catch-22 because if he's getting tired, all of a sudden that sinker gets up. Ibanez will drive one in the gap. So you're betting that he's got that one good sinker left in him. Try to get him out of this inning.
22 years old, pitching on the grand stage here at Yankee Stadium. In a jam here in the bottom of the sixth. It's a 2-2 game. He's at 104 pitches. That could be that double play. There's one. And there's two with the scoop at first by Encarnacion. So that's Alvarez's specialty. They got Ibanez to bang it into a 4-6-3 double play. We're going to the seventh. This game is tied at 2. Kelly Johnson will lead off, and Alvarez loves the twin killer. YMCA.
I had to sit Michael down. He was dancing to the YMCA.
Don't let people behind the curtain. Time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 2-3-0 for the Jays, 2-5-0 for the Yanks. Russell Martin with a solo home run. Cano had an RBI double, and Lind a solo home run. Kelly Johnson swings at the first pitch from Hughes. And right there is Chavez. He makes the play for the first out. Cadillac scoreboard 2-2. Boy, that was his 100th pitch. You can get an out on one pitch. You got to feel good.
Yeah, again, I mean, you look at teams that hit home runs Yankees work counts. Toronto Blue Jays are swingers. They go up there looking to drive the ball out of the park. If you make good pitches, you can have a quick inning. But you look at some numbers there. Really, he hasn't had a single-digit inning all night.
Davis hammers one to left field. It is a base hit. That breaks it 0 for 25 for Davis. And he is at second base with a double. Boy, that's a weight off his shoulders.
I'll tell you what, and you see that's just a big, deep breath. It's just a relief to get that out of your mind. And he waited on this curveball, a little more balance, and absolutely hammered it. Tell you what, you just feel like you're running on air out there when you finally break that slump. One of the Blue Jays that can steal a base too, Robbie. You got to hold him close there. You see Cano kind of inching over there. You don't want out. You can't let him get a jump.
Arancibia. Fly ball to right. Swisher makes the catch. Davis tags. He'll go to third easily. 2 outs.
again, I mean, you've got 2 outs and a man on third base, and you've thrown 3 pitches. I mean, the Toronto Blue Jays are like swinging from the on-deck circle right here. They're not working the count. They're going up for one thing, and that's to hammer the first fastball that they see. Laurie's had some tough at-bats, and a check swing to start the game. Then he broke a bat. I mean, this is a good young player. Last year, they were talking, you know, I hate to make comparisons, but I mean, they were talking about Laurie as much as they were talking about Trout, that he was going to be that type of player, and he probably still is. I mean, this is his second time through the second season. Pitched a little bit different, a lot of off-speed stuff this year. Showed last year that he can handle the fastball, but a good, solid player that's going to be there for a lot of years to come.
Count 0-2 on Laurie. Brian Butterfield duck.
I don't think a pitch has made it to the catcher's club this inning.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Crowd with a chant of Hughes. And the 0-2. Russell Martin never caught a ball. Robinson Cano does to end the inning, and that will do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. At the end of 6 1/2, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Toronto and the Yankees are tied at 2, but we'll stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Show. John Farrell's going to make the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. We have a new pitcher. It is Chad Beck. Just his 4th game. So Alvarez battled, threw a lot of pitches early, but you know what? He leaves the game 2-2.
I mean, he definitely gave the Blue Jays an opportunity to win this game. He kept the Yankees off the board. The Yankees came in scoring a lot of runs in the Angels series, so he threw the ball well, kept the ball down, went to his changeup as a strikeout pitch. Set a career high in strikeouts tonight.
Cadillac scoreboard, it's 2-2.
This is where you kind of hold your breath through the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, because this is the area that, you know, it's just hard to get guys or young guys who come in big situations and get big outs.
I think the swinging at the first pitch is going to catch it.
I mean, you look at the difference, and you said Beck, this is his third game, fourth game, whatever you said. And I mean, and then you've got Robertson, who's, you know, like a specialist coming in. So all of a sudden, the tables have turned where the Yankees are at a big advantage because of their bullpen against the Blue Jays.
Yesterday's game, a rare game where the Yankee bullpen didn't do a good job, and it cost them the game. Driven out to center field. Coming on as Rasmus to make the play. One out. David Robertson heating up in the Yankee pen.
Again, if that's Phil Hughes in, I mean, if he's not going to start the inning, which it looks like Robertson's going to come in, did a great job, threw the ball well, and it's like he made a couple mistakes, and those mistakes, they weren't just base hits, they cost him runs. But again, another good start. Once in a while, as a pitcher, you get caught on a night where your offense just doesn't score the amount of runs. Michael, we're in jeopardy here. What was it? How many games have they scored? 3 or more?
39 runs. 39 straight games.
39 straight games.
Team record.
They had 2 tonight. I got a feeling we're going to 40 now. I'll tell you that.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you think the Yankees will win the game?
I think they're scoring another run. Russell Martin, and you know, he had that one big hit against the Angels. Home run tonight. You just have to keep taking these steps forward where all of a sudden you think and believe that this year's starting to turn around for you.
As he swings and misses for the second out. You can see that's a new cap. He still has that little piece of thread sticking out of the button.
Take care of that for him,
A teammate has to tell him, don't you think?
Yeah, that's usually the kind of stuff I notice in right field. If a thread was sticking out of a button, you know, you got to have high def to even see that thread coming like that.
It's like a little antenna.
Good reception out there.
The late, great Phil Rizzuto used to put a wad of gum on the button on the top of his hat.
Chew it later, or just
sometimes he would chew it and then put it up there. John Moore, our director who worked with Phil Rizzuto, said that Phil told him he used to put the same gum there until he didn't get a hit, and then he'd switch the gum.
I told you, you made fun of me for drawing glasses on my bat. We do weird things to try to get hits out there, you know?
I guess so.
It's not all about talent. It's the stuff that you do out there.
Speaking of inning streaks, today was the day that DiMaggio hit his 56th straight game.
What year was that?
That was 41.
41.
Grounded up the middle, Escobar, and that will do it. So 1-2-3 inning for Beck. There's Joe D. As we go to the 8th inning here at the stadium. Good game. It's 2-2. Stay right where you are. yesterday. Real tough. They hang in there. Heat, no matter what the problem is. Check this out. Eric Chavez pops it up. Tad, or dugout camera, and take a look at him. How brave.
Where you going, Tad? Yep. We need yes helmets down there.
Wow. I mean, really. That's a scene out of Gladiator right there. Nice going, Tad. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Introducing Verizon Fios quantum speed internet twice as fast as anything America's ever seen. CC Sabathia is back. A DL stint, 9-3, 3.45. Brett Cecil, 2-1, 6.75. Coverage will begin at 6 on the Yes Network. And the game, you can see it on My 9. And it starts at 7. First pitch around 7:08. I am told, Paul, from the people on Twitter, that Russell Martin did, in fact, catch a pitch in the 7th inning, that we missed one.
Falling asleep up there?
I guess. So I apologize, everybody. Here's David Robertson. Phil Hughes will not get a decision, but his ERA will lower. And now Robertson in the bullpen takes over. And there's a tough part of the lineup coming up. Rasmus, Bautista, and Encarnacion in the 8th. Monday scoreboard, 2-2.
Rasmus, first in the AL center fielders with RBIs. 54, which, I mean, you could have given me a list. I never would have picked that one. Obviously, Granderson with as many home runs. He's got 52.
Grounded off the glove of a diving Teixeira. Cano backs up and throws it to Robertson to make the out. What a play by Cano.
As well as a hitter, you're like, I got to buy him, and like, oh no, it ricocheted to somebody else. Robbie does a great job with continuing to play. Robertson also, as soon as you see that ball go off to Teixeira, sometimes that pitcher will stop, and he continued to get to the bag. It's great hands. It's great hands. Just don't realize how smooth that is.
And a good play by Robertson, getting over there and getting the throw. So 1 out, and here is Bautista.
Phil Hughes did a really good job against Bautista, mixing in some curveballs and tying him up with some fastballs. If you're Robertson, you've got that good curveball. Every once in a while, I'm going to show this to Bautista. Some guys in the league in this situation, you just challenge with your good fastball. Bautista, probably not one of them. You still have to make a good pitch. And he challenged it. Just pulled it foul. Oh, you know what that looks like? I hate to say it, but that looks like that handmade bone. A little tiny hook bone in your hand, and all of a sudden it breaks off. And you lose all strength in your hand, and it's on a regular swing. You really don't know what causes it. I hate to see that. Great player having a great year. Yep, and there's just like a little burning sensation in there. I've heard from a couple players that Matt Noakes did it. And like I said, it's a little bone that's shaped kind of like a hook.
Yep.
And it just breaks off.
And you have to go in there and remove it. It doesn't just heal.
Yeah. Just guessing here, Michael, but I'd say I've seen a lot of hitters, and you didn't see anything other than that. The ball was absolutely crushed, just pulled foul.
Now, where he's manipulating it, because the hammate's like right in the middle of the hand.
Yeah, the palm of the hand,
but he looks like he's touching up top.
He's pushing on the palm of that hand. I don't know. You lose strength in there. That's the thing. It's just, no, he's done something there.
Wow. This team has been ravaged by injuries, most of them in the pitching rotation. And Bautista is going to go into that clubhouse and they're going to look him over. That's a big loss for them.
Well, it's just a weird. I mean, you take thousands of swings, and it just on a swing like that, it just happens. It's just one of those things.
Pinch hit, number 8.
You know,
Francisco.
The Toronto Blue Jays right now, that's the face of the Toronto Blue Jays, is Jose Bautista. He does everything for him. His home runs, great outfielder. You talk about a downer for players out on that bench. You know you've missed half of your pitching staff, and now your star player.
So they're going to send Ben Francisco up to the plate with a 2-1 count. And you know what, Paul? That's the type of injury that could get a team down, because he is, as you said, your best player. And they know that. He's your number 3 batter. And Larry Rothschild will go out now and give a scouting report on Francisco to David Robertson. And you hope for the Blue Jays' sake that Bautista's not hurt, like what Paul's saying, the hamate bone. Because that keeps you out about 6 to 7 weeks.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing. I mean, when you can't use your hands and you don't have strength, you see you can't hit. You can be legs, arms, everything completely hit, but if you don't have your hands, you can't swing the bat. And Bautista's a guy that really generates a lot of bat speed with his hands.
Here it is again. Crushed the ball. And then doubled over in pain. So Francisco takes over the count. Pitches high, 3-1.
Unless he gets a hit, this is Bautista's at bat, right? Is that the way it goes?
No, I think this is his at bat now. I think if it was 2 strikes, it would be Bautista's at bat.
Is that right?
Yeah. This isn't Francisco's record for sure. Three-2. And a walk.
Neither of them got a walk.
You're right.
The first baseman, Edwin Encarnacion.
A lot to bring up Edwin Encarnacion. He's doubled twice. And his double in the 6th, and he tied the game.
He's doubled to right center. He's doubled to left center. Right center, he hit a good pitch. Phil Hughes tried to go away. He went with it. Then Phil Hughes missed on a pitch that he pulled in the left center. And again, it's just one of those few mistakes that he made tonight. Encarnacion swinging the bat well. There's that good curveball, and every once in a while you mix that in, and Encarnacion has been really hitting on the fastball tonight. So you know, you drop that good curveball and mix things up a little bit. Wow, he's ready for that fastball. Hit right on the nose, right out of bounds.
Hit it hard. Well, they're 2 away.
Ball hit right on the nose again. I mean, even after a good curveball, fastball hit a little bit too much of the plate. Hammered.
Here's Adam Lynn. 1 for 2, had a home run in the 4th inning. 1-1. Count 2-1.
Two outs. Robertson just trying to get through it. It's almost like a tennis match night right now. You know, you hold serve, you get through that inning, you get through it in a tie game late. You know that one good pitch or one missed pitch can cost you or win you the game.
Hit that twice. 2-2.
Cost you 2 strokes when you chip that double hit that and gone. This is 2-stroke penalty, Michael.
1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-2 game. Crowd of 42,819 here in the Bronx. Grounded to Cano. And that will do it in the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left. Who's coming up for the Yanks? Granderson, A-Rod, Cano. As the manager discusses the All-Star break and the state of the Yankees as they start the second half, plus Joe answers your questions submitted on Twitter. It is the Joe Girardi Show tonight after the postgame. And catch a new show Sunday at 8, only on Yes. Joe's trying to bring this one home for his team as Ben Francisco takes over for Bautista in right field. And we have a new pitcher. It is Aaron Loup. Just his second game for the left-hander. They carry 2 lefties, Loup and the veteran Darren Oliver. Hyundai scoreboard 2-2.
Talking about that at bat yesterday where Curtis Granderson fought for that walk. Took a lot of breaking balls from lefties.
1-1.
Luke kind of dropping down there, kind of a different angle. I'll tell you one thing, the first pitch you see kind of released up in here, and the second pitch you see released, all of a sudden it fools you as a hitter. Wow,
approach. Broken bat, right to Laurie. One away. I'd like to quickly pay tribute to a Hall of Fame writer, Bob Ryan of the Boston Globe, covering his final assignment tonight. Red Sox and the White Sox. He's retiring, and they announced it in the press box, and they got a standing ovation for the rest of the media.
Wow.
Bob's a great man. Yeah.
Picked a good game too, with Kevin Youkilis going back, and probably a lot of excitement around the ballpark. And probably been in the game for what, 40 years or something?
About that, yeah. Good luck to Bob in his retirement. Enjoy. Here's Alex Rodriguez. And a strike. Swing and a miss. How tough is it for a batter when he's never seen a pitcher?
You know what? It's tougher on older players because older players use scouting reports in their mind more so than on paper. If you faced a guy, 10, 15 times, you can bring that stuff back up. But younger players just look for the ball. And you usually look for a fastball out over the plate. Older players go much more on how guys have pitched them in the past. Talked to yesterday on how much better Alex has been swinging the bat against lefties. He got off to a kind of a weird start this year where he just wasn't hitting left-handers. Finally said, I like hitting left-handers. Hopefully it's going to change.
Had a base hit for A-Rod, so he's 2 for 4.
He's had some good swings tonight. That ball there's a ball that he can handle from the lefty. And again, even Alex Rodriguez is going to get to the point where, he's used to leading teams in home runs, being up in the league leaders. This year he hasn't to this point. So, you can't get home run conscious where you go up and try to hit home runs every single time. You're not the same kind of hitter. He needs to mix in his base hits. He's so strong. It's a good swing is a home run to him. It's not trying to hit one. Use all of the field. He's able to hit the ball to right center out of here. When he comes into this game, 14 home runs. Still, big second half. He still hits 30, 35 home runs.
That one gets away from Aaron Sibia, and that's big. As A-Rod will go to second. He's now in scoring position. That's a pass ball right there.
Funny, he looked at it like he thought he had it in his glove.
Stay tuned to Yes after the final out for the WB Mason postgame. Chris Sheeran and Jack Curry will break down tonight's series opener in the Bronx. Plus, Meredith Marakovich talks to the team in the clubhouse. And you can also hear Joe Girardi's thoughts in the manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. The 1-0 to Cano. 2-0.
Not many things that you can pick on Robbie at the plate. And one of them is lefties. He's 227 off lefties and 372 off righties this year. He's able to hit good lefties because he's able to hit the ball to left center field. Luke throws the ball pretty hard. Mid-90s, kind of from the side.
Two 1, 3-1, and on deck Teixeira. Yankees would like to push one across here, bring in Soriano, call it a night.
Nobody up in the bullpen. Luke's out there. He's either going to get out of this or give it up.
No, Frazier's just stretching right now. He was throwing, so he's ready. I think he's just a spectator at this point. The 3-1. Rounded up the middle, grabbed there, but knocked down by Johnson. So it'll be a base hit. He did save a run, though, by ranging far to his right. Now let's take a look at how they attack Robbie Cano. The pitch-by-pitch is brought to you by Mazda.
We talked about Loop. He has a good fastball. Robbie saw a lot of them. This one kind of set up the at-bat. Couldn't quite find the zone. There was a good pitch to hit. Big thing's hard. And it got in it, but he got it up the middle. All right, Michael, he knocked this ball down as an infielder. That's your only play right here, so keep that ball in the infield and save the run.
Well, the Yankees have runners on first and third. They are going to go to Frazier. Frazier against Teixeira when we get back. Game on the line. Hybrid of the New York Yankees. All right, so they bring in Jason Frazier. 42 games. This is his 42nd. 1-1, 3.53. Less than a hit per inning. 44 strikeouts in 35 2/3. Opponents hit 230 against him. 238 against him. He's got good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the regulars out there that you've seen in the past years. He has had some good years out of that bullpen.
So here's Mark Teixeira. Robbie Thompson talking with Alex Rodriguez. Teixeira 1 for 14 lifetime against Frazier. Pitch inside. Teixeira today has walked twice and a fly ball to right. 250, 18 homers, 61 runs batted in. Those are the numbers we gave you lifetime against the right-hander. Pretty good stat here. 7th inning or later, if the game is tied or it's a one-run game, Teixeira is 16 for 35. That's 457. That's a telling stat.
Something's got to give. He does well in these situations, but he doesn't hit Frazier. Frazier, to me, I just looked at the he looks like Pat Kelly out there.
A little bit. Former Yankee second baseman. Tied him up.
It's a hitter in a hitter's count looking for a fastball, and sometimes you just get so caught up that you see the fastball, you forget where it is location-wise. This ball right in on his hands.
A-Rod leads off third, Cano off first. One man out, bottom of the eighth, 2-2 game.
The ball inside.
Oh, right by him.
The ball moved back over the middle of the plate. It's kind of set up by that pitch before where you start leaning and trying to open those front hips a little bit to get to that inside pitch. Kind of slows the bat down. Frazier completely different from Alvarez, who was looking for that sinker for you to beat it into the ground. Uses that straight four-seam fastball and a breaking ball.
Two-two. And that gets Teixeira.
Teixeira, you see, kind of upset that he couldn't get out of the way because A-Rod would have scored.
So that loads the bases, and A-Rod has to go back to third.
Kind of a good break for the Blue Jays because this ball's probably going to get by him anyway. That's a breaking ball down in the dirt. They're taking it like they need to pass the baton to each other. They're going in separate directions.
I think Teixeira started to think, maybe I'll run it. They didn't think it hurt me, but he's limping around. Then he sees A-Rod. All right, so bases loaded. Another big spot for Swisher. He had the bases loaded in the first inning with 2 outs and struck out looking. .260, 13 homers, 51 ribbies for Nip. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Foul ball. Swisher has great numbers against Jason Frazier, 6 for 17.
Fill that zero column with a home run and get a big chair here, Michael.
Absolutely.
See, that's Tim McCallum there. I thought he said ball. There was no movement whatsoever, and as a hitter, you really don't know till you see him stand up. Now listen here, it's almost ball. Tim McCallum, one of the better umpires in balls and strikes that you'll see in the major leagues.
Two. Held up on that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, 1-2.
That's a good pitch. I mean, that's a pitch that's just out of the zone. Not much you can do with, but a chance for the hitter to swing. It's not a wasted pitch. Up and out of the zone, really. There's nothing you can do but pop that ball up, but it sets up so many other things. You can go down and away. You can try to throw that slider down in on his foot. All of a sudden, Frazier gets 2 strikes, and the way of pitching becomes different because he's trying to get a strikeout here. A lot of times you try, early in the count to get a ball that he can roll over on, but now you get 2 strikes. Try to make that perfect pitch to get that strikeout.
2-2. Same pitch. And now Arcibia wants to talk with Frazier.
It looks like he's just trying to overthrow that so much to try to get the ball by him that he's kind of leaving that one up in the zone. And He's talking, let's go inside. And if you go inside, there's only two things. You either go inside right at his hands with a fastball, or you throw that slider down and in, out of the zone. Francisco Cordero, ex-Cincinnati Red, out in the bullpen.
A-Rod's at third. Cano's at second. Teixeira is at first. One man out, bottom of the eighth. Game tied at 2-2.
He went with the slider there, but he left it out over the plate. Nick Swisher had a good pitch to hit there, fouled it off. So this ball's supposed to end up down and in, and it ended up right over the middle of the plate. Frazier does have good stuff. I mean, not a huge guy, but he's reminds me of Shields, kind of a small guy with the Angels a few years ago, setup guy that has good stuff, good live fastball. Scott Shields with the Angels, he was a setup guy there for years.
Big spot in this game as Frazier wants to get the pitch right. Sees what he likes. Popped up behind the plate, and that'll make the seats. And another conference.
Well, they're just trying to get on the same page, because they're not just trying to get an out here. They're trying to get a strikeout, and they've tried everything. They've tried a slider. They've tried the fastball away, up out of the zone. The only pitch that you can think of right here is that fastball that he threw to Teixeira right in on his hands, but it's a dangerous pitch, because if he puts it in play, even if he gets jammed, it's going to be hard to turn to two.
So he's worked the count full, and there's no place to put him. Start to throw in earnest if the Yankees push across the line.
You need to step out here, yeah. Every once in a while, as a hitter, you just keep seeing that pitcher shake off. It starts confusing you as a hitter. It's like, how many pitches you got out there? Kind of reset, hit a reset button and get back in there.
Many in the crowd standing. The 3-2.
Good curve.
Breaking ball, strike three. Swisher down looking.
You know, and that's, I was just thinking, I mean, that's a veteran pitcher. He's gone to fastball, and in this big count was not scared to throw that curveball, just lock Nick Swisher up. So just an overhand curveball, good break. You know, in 3-2 in that situation, you don't have to throw a great curveball. You just have to throw a curveball, and that's what he did, and threw it for a strike.
So Swisher has struck out twice looking with the bases loaded tonight, and here is Raul Ibanez with 2 outs. Ibanez 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. One and
0. See Nick Swisher just saying that's a good pitch, but you know, a lot of the pitches that led up to that, and you know, like I said, Frazier had the guts to throw a curveball 3-2, and as a hitter, there's no way you can look for that in a situation like that. Team meetings out here at the mound this inning, Mike.
Amazing.
He's asking, was that inside enough? And I mean, as a pitcher, you got to know that, you know, Ibanez pulled that ball foul. Did you get it in enough? If it wasn't inside, then you throw it in there a little bit more, knowing that Ibanez got to that ball. He'll pull another one foul, too.
Not much history between these two. 1 hit and 5 at-bats. Two and one.
Guys are kind of held off on that, and that's the pitch all night that Tim McClellan has really not been given. That the outside pitch to the lefty. All these are big at bats, Michael. You know, you know if you get a hit, you got your closer coming in.
Or you get a walk.
And now you're in a situation where all you can do. You got a couple options. You make him throw 2 strikes and you take right here, or you look. We've got to get on the same page. This is a long page too, Michael, because they've been out there a few times. Right now, I mean, you have real option. You have to trust that you can throw a fastball.
So if you're Ibanez, you're sitting here.
Yeah, I mean, you have to hit a dead fastball, but you're either going to take this pitch and make him throw 2 strikes, or you're going to try to drive something right up the middle.
That one is drilled deep to right field. Going back, Francisco looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Ibanez, and the Yankees lead 6-2.
That's kind of a game changer right there. I mean, Frazier did a great job of getting Nick Swisher to strike out, and then he just backed himself into a corner where he had no option other than to challenge Raul Ibanez with a fastball. I said he's got 2 options. He'd either take it, make it throw 2 strikes, or look for a pitch to drive. He took the second option to hit a grand slam.
Pitch is high to Chavez. 6 grand slam the Yankees have hit this season. Big hit for Ibanez. And now it's 40 games in a row that the Yankees have scored 3 or more runs.
Again, you see target, I mean, 3-1. What a great feeling as a hitter to know you got it right off the bat. No question about it. You said Frazier had backed himself into a corner where he was out of options. Just had to throw a fastball for a strike.
Swisher feels better. His teammate picked him up. Chavez fouls it away. Ibanez has turned into a big hitter guy, and by that I mean 7th inning or later this year in a tie game or a 1-run game. He's 13 for 37, 351 with 3 homers and 12 ribbies.
It's all about the approach there. I mean, it's swinging at strikes, and a lot of pitchers in big situations do not want to come. You know, they try to nibble around, and then they get in a hole, and he's a guy that in a fastball count can turn on it.
Now, only one other team in Major League history have had more games of 3 or more runs. That's the 1994 Indians. They had 48 straight within 1 season. And the Yankees just passed, or broke a tie with the 96 Mariners, who had had 39 straight. So 40 straight games the Yankees have scored 3 or more runs. Must be a great feeling. Chavez works a walk. John Farrell is going to go to the bullpen. So Frazier makes the mistake to Ibanez. Out goes Frazier. In comes another pitcher. Yankees lead 6-2 thanks to a swing by Ibanez. 951. Just vote online at yesnetwork.com. Here are tonight's candidates: Raul Ibanez, Robinson Cano, Edwin Encarnacion, or Phil Hughes. Who are you voting for there, Paul?
You know what? I'm just going to help the people. You know, the man just hit a grand slam. Game winner. I'm telling you, it's a game winner.
You cannot politic that close to the voting booth, but vote now and make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. And we'll find out who that player is on the postgame with Chris Sheeran and Jack Curry and Meredith Marakovitz.
The Rock, as Coney calls it.
That's right. Yankee dugout. Feeling pretty good about that home run. Francisco Cordero comes on. And Martin crushes one to left center field. That ball is caught at the wall by Davis. And that will do it. But they didn't catch the drive off the bat of Raul Ibanez. Bases loaded, 3-1 count. A grand slam to give the Yankees a 6-2 lead.
Game for a complete preview with Audi batting practice today and the Tri-State 4 pregame. Then after the game on My 9, come back to Yes for Yankees Extra Innings. And Wednesday afternoon, we've got full game coverage starting at 12:30. Not 30, Michael. Right here on Yes.
That was beautiful.
You think?
Well,
I've stumbled a little bit. I might not be invited back tomorrow. I've stumbled a little bit tonight.
What you meant to say was Audi batting practice. That was the only mistake.
I told you I've stumbled a little bit. Wasn't one of my better appearances.
This is a long stretch of games for you. And I just checked out the schedule. Dwayne Wise takes over. You got a lot of games coming up.
I know. I do. I do. Sometimes.
Got to pay for that wedding, college bills.
Sometimes you can get overexposed, Michael, you know.
So Raul Ibanez hits the grand slam. He gets the rest of the game off. Wise takes over and left. Then Cody Epley comes on to try to finish this off. 4-run lead, ninth inning, not a save situation, so they sit down Soriano, although he can get back up quickly if Cody Epley struggles.
I did notice yesterday we had a little lull in the action, and it was like a breath of fresh air. I look back, your wife's here, like a ray of sunshine came over. You picked it up.
I feel better, when she's around.
I hope you took her out to dinner and did something.
Both.
Really?
Yes.
All right, good. I'm happy for you.
She was hoping for the invite to Frank and Mary's, but you just scooted out of here.
Did you know the storm that went through out there? I barely got to Frank and Mary. Almost had to get out of the car and go wading through North Avenue. The North Street, whatever it's called up there.
Count 0-2 on Escobar. If you follow the Blue Jays closely, you might wonder, why didn't they bring in Darren Oliver to face Ibanez? Well, the Yankees probably would have countered as Escobar goes down the strikes with Andrew Jones. But also, Oliver pitched 2 innings yesterday in their victory against the Indians, so they probably didn't want to use him tonight. And the trainer explaining to John Farrell what's up with Bautista. Farrell does probably not want to hear the word hamate. The Blue Jays have tweeted out that he has a left wrist injury, but they haven't been specific.
You know, you talked about Darren Oliver, and you said yesterday there's not too many people. Well, I faced Darren Oliver a lot, which means he's a little old. Huh?
He's up there.
Can't come back to back. But he's had an unbelievable career.
He really has.
And started as a starter, ended up in the bullpen, and pitched for some big games with the Rangers. He's been in playoffs. He's done a lot of things.
1-0 count on Kelly Johnson.
Father was a pretty good hitter too.
Hello. Epley's done a nice job for the Yankees. Two big innings on Saturday in relief of Freddie Garcia. Pitched the score was 6th and 7th. Pitched very well. Count out 3-0.
That's impressive. Just like look back on your own scoreboard and your own scorebook over there. I got to tap somebody on the shoulder and get a little help.
We're going to get you a scorebook next year.
What for? That's going to take all the fun out of this thing if I got to keep score up.
You're right. I'll do it for you. Here's the 3-0. Strike.
Well, one thing Epley does, he comes in, he throws strikes, and he goes after people. And as a manager, that's all you can ask for from guys when you're bullpen. They come in, throw strikes, make guys beat you at the plate.
Count 3-2. Red Sox beat the White Sox 5-1, so if the Blue Jays don't come back, they will drop into last place alone, break that tie with the Red Sox. Cleveland leads Tampa Bay 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Orioles are off. No, they're losing to Minnesota 11-2, top of the 5th. And Johnson works a walk against Epley. And that'll bring up Davis. Davis doubled his last time up. That broke an 0-for-25 slide. And just making sure Soriano's ready. Another batter gets on, then it becomes a save situation because the tying run would be on deck. Shows bunt, takes inside. This must not be a comfortable at bat for a righty.
Yeah, I mean, that's his thing. He comes in, he's a specialist out of the bullpen because of his delivery and because of his release point. Very hard for right-handers to pick up. That's what you get. You get that movement by dropping down. The farther you move down, the more sink you put on the ball. And that's what happens. You start beating that ball in the ground, off your toes, everything. Ouch. Right off the ankle bone. Really can't see. Wow. the angle on the TV, on the monitor, how, you know, you have to, I mean, you're really looking out over here for a release point, and you're so accustomed to, you know, to looking for a guy throwing overhand. So it's a completely different angle. The righty's only batting .228 off Epley this year, so strengthening the point there, Michael.
2-2. Rounded slowly to third. Epley fires, not in time. Seeing eye hit for Davis. And that's going to bring in Soriano.
You say you just broke a slump, and I mean, you couldn't buy one of those hits in the middle of that slump. Then all of a sudden you break it and good things start happening.
So Soriano will try to close it out. Arancibia coming up. Yankees holding on to a 6-2 lead in the ninth.
Sits down with Michael Kay for a new GMC Presents Center Stage. With the Olympics later this month, the 9-time gold medalist discusses his storied career, including his rivalry with Canadian sprinter Ben Johnson. It's a new Center Stage Wednesday at 10 o'clock, only on Yes.
Didn't really like Ben Johnson that much.
Wasn't a big fan?
No. But you'll hear more about that on Center Stage.
How many of those you do a year?
Anywhere from 16 to 20. Yep. Here's Soriano. We don't know what he's looking at, everybody, so stop asking. Nobody on the Yankees wants to ask him what it is. And he doesn't want to talk about it, so.
Some things just need to be left on the field.
I asked Joe Girardi, he said, I'm hoping it's a scouting report. I asked Larry Rothschild, maybe it's a little friend.
A little friend. Yeah.
And there's a strike to Arancibia. Mariano had very good things to say about Soriano. He said, obviously, he likes pitching in these situations, and we know that he can do it. He's done it in the past. That's why there's been no drop-off from me. That one is looped into left field, and it's going to dunk in for a base hit. And that'll load the bases. And now, bad base running by the Blue Jays, but it turns out okay. As Kelly Johnson scores, Davis gets the third, and stopping at first is Arancibia at 6-3 Yanks.
I'll tell you, Brian Butterfield down there is just probably shaking his head. Are you kidding me? Because Davis comes on to third. Wow. See, here's the problem. He was occupying third base at the time.
So there's no RBI on that.
been a bad thing, especially in the 9th inning when you're just getting an opportunity to get back in this game.
Here's Laurie, takes outside. Kelly Johnson.
Kelly Johnson does a good job here because, I mean, he could have just stayed right there. He just like, he's coming, I got to go. And obviously, Eric Chavez is making the tag, which allows him to scamper home. But if he doesn't break there, you know, you got a run down, you're going to get an out.
Laurie tonight is 0 for 4. It's 6-3 Yankees over the Blue Jays. Count 3-0. There's a strike, 3-1.
Again, with that run scoring, I mean, this is an opportunity. You just cannot lay a ball in here. I mean, you've got the tying run at the plate.
Popped up. Teixeira makes the play for the second out. So one more out and another save and another win for the Yankees. And it's going to be Colby Rasmus. First and third, 2 outs. 9th inning, Yankees lead 6-3. Runner goes from first, and he will take second on defensive indifference. First pitch is a strike.
All the close games you've had here with the Angels, I mean, Soriano's been used a lot. I mean, this is one of those nights where, you know, his curveball or slider's not that sharp. He's not overpowering, but he's going to try to gut this thing out, get one more out. Again, there's that outside corner that Tim McClellan has not budged on all night. Pretty good pitch. Wow, this is something. Look at that. Way up in the box. Most guys are back here in that little hole trying to take that curveball away from Soriano.
Check swing, he did not go.
See if he goes out of the box. He actually does. He's out of the batter's box.
And you're not allowed to be out of the batter's box.
No.
By the way, they gave an error to Dwayne Wise on that wacky play at third and home, allowing the runner to move to third. 2-1. Now 2-2. Leading because of that man on the left, his home run. Raul Ibanez, a grand slam. That made it 6-2. Now it's 6-3. And Rasmus is the tying run at the plate. Strike 3. Ball game over, and the Yankees win. So Rasmus looks at a called third strike. And again, Soriano gets it done.
Soriano looks angry at that
Never
jersey.
happy.
Looks angry when he gets the save. I think he's still thinking about that outside pitch he didn't get. That makes your game over tough when Tim McClellan waits that long, doesn't it?
You gotta wait for game over. So the night is over. He untucks the uniform, and the Yankees win 6-3. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So David Robertson will get the win for the Yankees, and the Yankees have taken 3 of 4 on this second half opening homestand. And we will wrap it all up when we come back. And remember, after that, we got the post-game show with Chris Sheeran, Jack Curry, and Meredith Morakovitz. The story of the game is probably going to be that guy, but stick around for sure to find out.